So Snedds just said there he gave me the Zebecks Violet that was released earlier on this year on the 25th of July. It's approximately 4 minutes and 29 seconds long, so just under 5 minutes. Certainly doesn't feel like a long track, doesn't overstay its welcome by any stretch of the imagination. The Zebecks are a 4-piece indie band from Elgin in God's own county of Moray, Scotland. Believe it or not, that's where we both come from. And they actually played Nice and Sleazy's on Thursday in Glasgow, up in Sauchiehall Street, across from the garage that we were kind of mentioning earlier on when we were talking about Kneecap. So with regards to this song, I mean, I've described it as an immediately engaging, bright and shiny summery track, which kind of really instantly put me in mind of the heyday of indie guitar bands from the early noughties and 90s. Likes of the Cooks, the Libertines, Razorlight, that type of thing. I think you also kind of likened them a wee bit to Cheekface, and I can kind of see the similarities in a way. The lead singer kind of sings at first, but there is a bit of a kind of lilt, there is a bit of a kind of Tim Burty's kind of vocal delivery, and he certainly kind of ramps it up a gear when it comes to the chorus, which I really enjoyed, and I've described it as something that you can kind of really kind of bob your head along to. As for the lyrics themselves, I think they kind of depict a fairly messy breakup, or rather the lead vocalist's perhaps reluctancy to kind of split up with the song's namesake, Violet, specifically saying that he's got all her colours stuck in his head. But it sounds as if he's maybe a bit torn, almost as if she maybe kind of leads him astray a bit. I think later on in the song he kind of talks about being down at a play park, I think maybe walking home and having to tell a lie to his mum as to where he's been. So yeah, and then kind of later describes her as being violent Violet. As for the musicianship, like I said, it's pretty straightforward, kind of indie guitar rock. But yeah, I thought it was a really good track, man. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, man, me too. I mean, they're a young band. They're like 18, 19, I think, most of them.
And they've released a couple of tracks, haven't they?
There's a demo EP called Out of the Dust that Violet features on. So yeah, there's 4 tracks on that, something like that. But yeah, I kind of first came across them in it was like an article in the Northern Scot, on their website.
Really?
It was doing the rounds on the sort of local news, so they were featured in that, and that's kind of how I came across them. The Northern Scot being the sort of local newspaper in Elgin and Moray. But so yeah, they seem to be getting like a fairly big push from the local community, which is good. And I mean, I think I don't think that's unwarranted, because I think this is despite being referred to as a demo, I think this sounds great for the most part. It's a pretty good song. I think you're likening them to sort of early indie bands or the sort of 2000s sort of era is fairly accurate. I'd gone as far as even saying it was reminiscent of like classic bands like Television, that sort of 70s rock and roll. I think mostly in the sort of guitars, but with more of a modern twist. I was thinking something like The View. Maybe, The View, saying they're modern now is probably stretching it a bit. It's like 2 decades ago, but but you know what I mean. Like that's kind of what it reminded me of at times. Cheekface in those sort of slacker vocals. Occasionally, and like you say, like the Libertines, and maybe not so much on this song, but some of the other songs on there's a song, one of the other songs in the EP just really sounds like the Libertines at times. But yeah, so good drums, a lot of subtle little bass slides and rumbles. The only bit that I wasn't too keen on was there's a sort of oh, whoa, whoa kind of vocal bit, which is, I don't know if it's the pre-chorus or the chorus itself, but it just felt a bit jarring. I did kind of get used to it after a while, but every time it comes in that first time, it just feels a bit jarring. There's a bit of a stomp behind it, but that's probably my main criticism of the song. But yeah, I can't really find too many faults in it. It's a good sort of indie rock and roll track, isn't it?
Definitely, man. I mean, it's a pretty good single. I kind of give it a 7 out of 10.
I've given it an 8. Yeah, despite my criticism of some of the vocals, I think it's just a kind of fun, catchy rock song. And the EP's decent as well. There's elements of like, the Smiths, The Cure, the Pixies even, Oasis at times.
I felt as if this song, it did kind of, it certainly had a kind of Britpop vibe to it.
Yeah, I think there's some good songs on that EP, and I think they could go on to write some really, really great songs. So yeah, enjoyed that. Cool. So that was Violet by the Zebecks. Are we calling them the Zebecks?
Yeah. Zebecks.
Or the Zebecks. I don't know.
Zebecks. Who knows?
Someone write in and tell us.
Someone clarify that for us.
Send us a sound bite. Okay, so yeah, that was Violet by the Zebecks.
She said, you gotta wake up. I said, you gotta look back. And oh, whoa, whoa, I'm not in the mood for your sick jokes. She said, we gotta break up, babe, I don't want that. Violent, violet, violent, violet.
It's not finished. It's finished.